And many were waiting for that announcement, and it came on Monday via the budget presentation. With me, Senator Leroy Baptiste, Minister of Labour. I want to thank you so much, Senator, for being here. Of course, we want to get some perspective, some deeper clarity on some of the developments, and I'm sure yourself and many others would have been very instrumental in ensuring that what was a campaign promise, what was mentioned vigorously during the election process, became a reality. What's your particular sentiment, and how intimately involved were you in ensuring that that became a reality?
Well, good morning.
Good morning to you. Yes,
morning,
welcome.
Jason. Good
Welcome.
morning. Good morning to your viewership. And let me take the little time out, being the Minister of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprise Development. I also have under my portfolio cooperatives.
Also credit union. Yes.
So I want to wish the Credit Union movement happy International Credit Union Day.
Yes, yes.
So
all protocols observed, of course. Yes.
So that is important. Of course, I'm elated because I have the duality of pleasure to be both I wore a different hat with this particular issue of decent work and the treatment of workers with respect and dignity was important to me when I wore that particular hat as the president of the Public Service Association. When I would have taken clear positions, what is acceptable and what is not. And that the previous government's treatment of workers I view as absolutely disrespectful when they were to roll back terms and conditions of employment, including the consolidation of their cost of living allowance. And the disrespectful offer of first 2% for 8 years and then followed by a 4% for 6 years.
Could you get some clarity there? Because I'm looking at The Guardian this morning and I'm realizing there is some shifting of the numbers and the timelines. The former finance minister, Mr. Mbert, would have mentioned that in his critique of the budget,
yes,
he made some statements. You came out swinging, suggesting that they were, quote, a complete lie, untrue. He said it never took place, end quote. Just for the benefit of the viewing audience, walk us through the difference with the numbers and the timeline.
Oh, sure. The outstanding bargaining periods, Jason, the outstanding bargaining periods are 2014-2016, 3-year periods, yes? 2017-2019, yes? And then it continues in 3-year period. They'll have 2020-2022, so forth, so fifth, coming right up to 2025. At the time of these negotiations, the period that was under question was 2014 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019. The first offer that came from the government after workers would have waited for 8-9 years to commence negotiation because the last administration simply disregarded collective bargaining process. So you had to wait. And when they commenced negotiation back then, it was with an offer of 2% for 2014, 2015, 2016. It was 0.02. And then the next period was a 5-year period. Yes, from 2017 to 2021, which was 0.0001%. Sorry, let me backtrack. The first offer, when I say 2%, would have been 0.01% for 2014 to 2016, and then for the 5-year period, they had 0 for the first 4 years, and then 1% again. So they offered 2% for 8 years. And you could recall that we had some serious protest action that took place. And then subsequently, they came back with another offer, and the offer would have been 4%. For the period 2014 to 2016, 0.02, and 2017 to 2019, 0.02. Yes? So it would have been 4% for 6 years, Jason. Yes? Okay. Now, what I'm saying to you here is beyond dispute. That's just the facts. That is That is what was on the table and nothing else. Yes? So you had that for that six years, they would have, again, refused to consolidate COLA. That would have been another part of their position, that the Public Service Association would have rejected Jason. Some unions, because the government, when we rejected that offer, the government referred the matter as a dispute to the special tribunal, yes? And the special tribunal attempted to impose a 10 years. Those matters, the Public Service Association would have taken those matters to court, which we subsequently won, both at the High Court and at the Court of Appeal level, yes? What they're speaking about, this question of this 9%, some unions, when it went to court, decided to, because the court was threatening some 10 years to impose the same 4% for 10 years, accepted the 4%. Some unions did so. Just prior to the last election, the budget prior to the last election, what the then Minister of Finance did, he came out again swinging and suggested for the unions who accepted the 4%, that he was putting on the table for the period 2020 to 2022, which is an additional three years, at 5%. He put that 5% offer. So now we're not talking about 6 years now, we're talking about 9 years. So he put that 5% offer over a 9-year period, only for the unions who would have previously accepted the 4%. Yes? What this government is doing is not treating with that 2020 to 2022 period. They're treating with the period 2014 to 2019, that first 6-year period, when the government had offered 4%. This government, based on its promise during the election campaign, that it will put an offer of not less than 10% for the period 2014 to 2019. So it's a 6-year period that 10 years, that 10% covers.
And in that regard, Minister Baptiste, I want to ask, would the tens of thousands who will be impacted by this, what is rightfully theirs, obviously, will they get it before Christmas? And more so, Anthony Wilson, I was talking to the Business Guardian desk just a couple of minutes ago. He was suggesting that, could we afford it? Will the government ultimately have to borrow money to suffice and to treat with this particular payout?
Well, you would have heard the Minister of Finance. You had a last administration that was a take it or leave it approach. Collective bargaining would have been thrown out the door. Not this administration. We have an industrial relations framework that is defined as how we treat with salaries, and we call that process collective bargaining. What the Minister of Finance would have done was the promise was to put an offer of not less than 10%. Instructed the CPO to place that before the recognized association that treats with the workers, that is the Public Service Association, and let the collective bargaining process begin. Whether it's concluded, because not just salaries, they have a number of issues that they will be treated with, but whether the process concludes before Christmas, that is up to the parties. So that process has been initiated now, and let that process
take its course.
And let me just give that assurance to the population that whatever the obligations, when there's a settlement, that this government will meet its obligation.
I want to speak now to productivity. How do we measure return on investment? Obviously, public servant workers deserve their due. You know, they are integral to the wheels of Trinidad and Tobago turning, and they show up every single day. And I know they give up their best, but there are some who obviously, we know there could be a bigger effort and there's much to be desired. So how do we measure the productivity and ensure that the 10% and whatever they ask for and they get it, we able to get that return, as it will, on the investment?
Well, we're talking about a past period. Just to be clear, we're speaking about a past period. Not just a past period, a long past period. We're talking about people on 2013 salaries. This is 2025. That's 12 years ago. You know time value of money, that whatever they're going to receive now would have lost a lot of purchasing power. So I'm saying all that to say that one can imagine the level of demotivation that would have existed with that kind of treatment met out to the public officers. But having said that, as the Minister of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprise Development, a part and parcel of that what I would have been focused on and engaged with is our tripartite partners, which include the employers and employer associations and the trade unions. And I've placed that squarely on their table, that we have to sit and treat with the whole issue of productivity. I don't think we have a choice, Jason. This country has to treat with the productivity issues like never before. We're in a pivotal time where it is clear to all and sundry that the boom and bust era is virtually over in terms of waiting for the next boom, oil boom. We have to treat with the diversification issues. We have to treat with, as you know, the Minister of Finance, he would have pointed to areas of diversification, whether it's tourism, whether it's sports tourism, whether it's yachting, aviation, the green economy. There's no kicking the can down the road. It's here, and we're going to treat with it. And I have invited, and I want to say this, on both the employer and the Employers Association and the trade union movement have made a commitment to engage in a process to treat with the productivity issues. And I'm talking about in a measurable way. So we're going to be meeting and treating with it. We're developing a framework in conjunction with the ILO to treat with this productivity issue. That will be coming soon. So that is something that is squarely on the table of the Minister of Labour and the Ministry of Labour.
Is there any consideration at all to a work from home policy? I mean, we all know of the traffic woes. We know of some folks having to come from far and wide.
Yes.
Some weather events, so many different factors, multiple limbs of consideration could cause someone to be either extremely late or just not show up. Is there going to be any kind of consideration in that regard, a work from home policy?
One word, yes.
Okay, how soon will we get details and how soon will it roll out?
It's all part and parcel of developing by the tripartite partners. So that is front burner.
Fantastic, front burner. In terms of vacancies within the public sector, trying to fill these particular vacancies, job creation, let's get to that conversation.
Yes. Well, you would have heard the Honourable Prime Minister. She leads with her heart. If it's one thing the Prime Minister would always be saying, but she cares. And believe you me, as one who have been in this business for a while, and my whole being has been job security, it is important. And one of the commitment that she would have signaled openly is the filling of vacancies. Because in the filling of vacancies, we have a commitment as members of the International Labour Fraternity, i.e. members of the ILO, to decent work. And the filling of vacancies is one of the ways to achieve that, because those jobs are well defined and they're secure. And we want to ensure we could bring about job security for the citizenry. And therefore, we are embarking on filling the vacancies all through the state sectors and the public service. But I want to say that job initiative is so important that it is receiving prime ministerial, not ministerial, prime ministerial attention.
Well, I look forward to
and that job initiative will be one of the Prime Minister will be treated with that frontally. Well,
I look forward to her commentary, whether it be tomorrow in the upcoming days, because yes. I know with the CPEP and the URP scenario, the reasoning for the shutting down, as it were, was to restructure, to give the folks working there sustainable jobs, some level of continuity and I guess pride within their service.
Yes.
Will they be absorbed into some new structure? Will they be part of the cooperation? I mean, many are really waiting with bated breath as to what will happen to those 30,000 plus people who are currently in the job line.
So hear me. I'm going to prime ministerial attention.
Yes.
It's receiving prime ministerial attention.
So she will attend and treat with that?
It will be treated with. Hear me. We all have known the issues associated with quote-unquote CPEP, URP. I'm not going to get into that. I want to say that among those matters are sub judice. Some of those matters are attracting the attention of the court. Because you know there are issues that my colleagues would have been faced with as to whether millions of dollars would have been spent without the necessary approvals and what have you. Sometimes you have to address issues when you meet it. But one of the things I could share with you that the Prime Minister is concerned with above all else is people's jobs. So it's unfortunate that what happened, but all attention, a whole of government approach to try to treat with this job issue. And the Prime Minister herself is leading that charge. Yes? There's this scripture that weeping endureth for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We're all looking forward to finding a solution. Necessity is the mother of invention. And having to treat with this issue once and for all is we will hope for a very successful conclusion. Bit by bit, we will bring about decent jobs and sustainable jobs on behalf of the citizenry of this country.
I want to get some remarks on the NIS increase. Could you give us some more clarity in that regard?
Well, the NIS is a situation that we have met that is had to be treated with. If we fail to treat with it within a few years, 7 years on the outside level, that we will have persons retiring and not being able to receive a benefit. That's what if we did not treat with it now, within 7 years, 2033, thereabout, you would have persons not being able to receive any benefit whatsoever. So again, people voted and give this government the responsibility to take charge of this economic environment that we call Trinidad and Tobago, and we had to deal with that issue, and the Minister of Finance would have dealt with it frontally. But let me just say that there's a lot of mischief where people try to perceive, they see the 3% and try to make it as though 3% of person's salary we're going to be taken away and given it to the NIB. That's the 3% would be a 3% on your contribution. $11, $18 is minuscule in terms of the increase, but when come together, it will support the continuity of the NIB. Yes?
What's the momentum with SME development within the ministry? Was the ethos there? What's the momentum?
Well, we don't talk about, I just spoke about diversification and diversification strategies.
But in terms of like what angle you want to really focus on? Because, we've heard the word diversification. Yes. I've always said jokingly, since I'm khaki pants and tall socks, I hear that word being touted since the 80s. Yeah. But how could we really get it to truly contribute in a significant way to our overall economic standing?
Well, because this time around, at the national level, we are setting a framework, a diversification strategy at the national level. We are pinpointing the areas of focus at a national level.
What sectors are you looking at?
Well, we spoke...
Because I know you said sporting.
Sport tourism.
Sport tourism.
Health. That's a major aspect too in terms of diversification strategy. Health, tourism.
Health, tourism.
We are speaking about yachting. We are speaking about...
Maritime.
Good. Yes. Right. The cruise ship. Yes. Mm-hmm. Aviation, and a whole number, a list of, in the budget debate, those things will become clear. We have the Minister of Trade and we have the Minister of Planning, and they are intimately involved with those areas, and they would be outlining the strategies. But importantly is that the SME now will align itself with those national diversification strategies. Mm-hmm. Yes? So it will impact sectoral level and the enterprise level. And there's where you would have, it's not that someone getting a grant for a grant's sake, but we're going to be harnessing the small entrepreneurship and supporting with all the advice and mentorship and to support them to build businesses aligned with the overall diversification strategy, which I want to emphasize we have no choice.
Yes.
But to treat with diversification once and for all. Over the years, the boom and boost era, people just spoke to it and did not treat with it. But this government, we're going to be treating with it once and for all. Diversification is here, and we will make it happen.
Minister, as we wrap things up in the couple seconds that remain, I'll give you a chance to speak directly and put a closing remark to the working public, the workforce of this twin island state, Trinidad and Tobago. The floor is yours.
Well, Jason, workers in this country, labor in this country, has reason to be optimistic. The last administration ran this country based on fear. And I want to quote, FEAR. We all know the idea of threats and imposition and the likes. The Prime Minister, her approach is also based on fear, FAIR, to make sure and create balance and to put the working class and to achieve on their behalf decent and sustainable jobs. They can look forward to that happening.
Minister, all the best. And happy Credit Union Day to all the credit unions out there, the cooperatives. Indeed, it's a very important one and significant day. We take the pause and we come back around the police and news segment. Officer Ali joins me. A couple of very major, important talking points as we get ready for a long weekend here in TNT. See you soon.